قیام و ایران آزاد با 1000 اشرف و ارتش آزادی. گردهمایی بزرگ مقاومت ایران. پاریس 9 تیر 1397 30 ژوئن 2018. حمایت از شوراهای مقاومت و کانونهای شورشی. همبستگی ملی برای سرنگونی فاشیسم دینی.
Madame Rajavi, friends, it's a great honor and a great privilege to once again join and to stand in solidarity with all of you and with the people of Iran. We come together to support the people of Iran in their great struggle. For years, far too many Western governments have tried to find a moderate faction within the regime in Tehran. This conciliatory approach has failed, and it has been nothing short of appeasement. We must not ignore the people of Iran, and we must not ignore their desire for change. Over the past 6 months, the people of Iran have shown great courage in protesting on the streets in more than 140 cities. They are desperately fighting for regime change. And friends, it is time to stand with the people of Iran and to give them our full support. Today we join Madame Rajavi, a woman of great courage and of great determination. And we gather in Paris to stand with the people of Iran, to support them in their quest for freedom, for equality, and for democracy. Friends, today, we join with the people of Iran to deliver a simple message to the mullahs. It's time for change. It's time for the mullahs to go. Friends, it is my great honor and privilege to introduce a leader with great courage who has always stood up against the regime in Tehran, even when it wasn't popular to do so, to support the Iranian people. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in giving a very warm welcome to the 22nd Prime Minister of Canada, Stephen Harper.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much. Merci pour cet accueil chaleureux. Madame Rajavi, mesdames et messieurs, chers amis, je suis ravi d'être ici avec toute la délégation canadienne pour appuyer la fin du régime à l'arrivée d'un Iran libéré et démocratique. Friends, we are here today, I am here today, not to tell Iranians who their future government should be. We are here to tell them that the future government of Iran must be the choice of a free people of Iran. So thank you for your long battle for a free and democratic Iran. For 10 years, the government I led chose a course in foreign policy guided by freedom, democracy, and justice, human rights, human equality, and human dignity, the same values that will someday soon be embraced in Tehran. But that is not Iran today. Iran is ruled by a regime of cruel and tyrannical mullahs that represent the opposite of the best of human values. It is a regime that stands for everything that is wrong. not just in the region, but in the world. It has sullied a great culture. It has sullied a great religion. That is why our government took a strong stand against the regime. We sponsored annual resolutions at the United Nations against Iran's human rights abuses. We used sanctions to cut off the flow of funds to the Revolutionary Guards and other regime entities. We formally listed the regime as an international state sponsor of terrorism. We passed legislation to allow victims to sue the regime for its atrocities. And friends, we closed the Canadian embassy in Tehran and told the mullahs to get out of Canada. Friends, the rulers of Iran have shown us time and time again that their words cannot be trusted. That is why the free world must judge the regime by its actions, and those are actions that seek neither justice nor peace. The mullahs' prisons continue to overflow, with people jailed not for their crimes but for their consciences. And the executioners work relentlessly. Women and girls are still treated as property, not people. Religious minorities are still repressed. And as much as the mullahs repress them, the protests for change rise in the streets, and they will keep rising until the regime is gone. Of course, the regime continues its spread of extremism throughout the Middle East. It continues to aid terrorists throughout the region. It continues to promote suffering in neighboring countries. It continues to build missiles. It builds missiles, friends, to be able to deliver the nuclear weapons it claims it is not developing. The 2015 nuclear deal has not moderated the regime. It has made it more belligerent than ever. And friends, that is why I was proud to sign a letter that appeared in the New York Times with my good friend John Baird, with former Prime Minister John Howard, with Nobel Peace Prize recipient David Trimble, and many others, supporting the American decision to pull out of the Iran nuclear deal. Friends, we know what happened. We know that the cash flowing into Iran since the sanctions were lifted has meant not prosperity for the people, but profit for the regime. We know that research supporting the development of a nuclear arsenal continues. We know that the regime has no desire to live in peace and harmony with the international community. Some in the West may pretend otherwise, but we face these facts because we choose not the easy way, but the right way. We stick by our principles: freedom, democracy, justice, human rights, human equality, human dignity for the people of Iran. And I know that everyone here understands this. Otherwise, you would have long ago given up your dreams for a new and better Iran. Friends, do not give up hope. You have many friends, as today's gathering shows, from all around the world who want a new Iran. An Iran governed not by the hatreds of the past, but by the people's aspirations for their future. Un nouveau Iran parmi les nations du monde libre et démocratique. A new Iran that stands proudly alongside the free nations of the world. A new Iran that I know and that you know will come to pass and will come someday soon. Keep up the fight. Vive l'Iran libre. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much, friends. Thank you very much. J'ai entendu beaucoup de certitudes et certaines de ces certitudes me sont chères et je voudrais les exprimer devant vous. Il y a des différences politiques qu'on a vues avec la délégation américaine, avec la délégation canadienne, et les Européens ne sont pas tous d'accord avec la ligne politique, en particulier de nos amis américains. Mais il y a quelque chose, mes amis, avec lequel les peuples d'Europe, et en particulier le peuple français, sont d'accord. C'est de vous suivre sur le chemin de la liberté. So don't believe that there is any difference between the European people and the expression of the American people and the Canadian people. We are all in agreement. We are all with you. We are all on your side for the new battle. And another time I'm in complete agreement with Miriam Rajavi when she was talking of the very fantastic perspective of democracy and freedom. And when she explained that there is no chaos because some of your enemies are attacking you, because if there is an uprising, if there is a sort of rebellion, a revolution in Iran, it will be followed by a chaos. It is not true at all. These people certainly had listened to Madame Rajavi's program on a temporary stage of democracy for 6 months and on the program of elections he offered you. So, despite of the fact that some European people, some European leaders, some politicians in Europe are not in complete agreement to destroy the agreement in between Iran and the democratic countries, they are, I repeat, all in agreement to be with you, to follow you, to back you on the program, very clear, to get rid of the mullah, to get rid of the religion at the head of the state, and to prepare and set up and build up a real democracy with the people. So, my good friend, be brave like you were, certainly in the name of the French people. On that program, you will be absolutely supported and not supported, but being with you. Bye-bye.
We have heard, and we will hear more from speakers for the first time in the 8 years since I've been coming to this event. We have heard and we will hear that finally the stars seem to be aligned to accomplish what we all want to accomplish, which is the downfall of the mullah's regime. And even as we hear that the economic rot in Tehran and the political rot in Tehran finally matches the moral rot that has always been at the core of the mullah's regime. And as we pause to thank Mrs. Rajavi, who has devoted decades of her life to bringing this about, and the people who died and the people who were mutilated to help bring it about, and the residents of Camp Ashraf, who suffered tremendously, and the Albanians who welcomed them gallantly. We all are aware, and you are aware, and your presence here shows you're aware, that there is nothing inevitable in human affairs. We hope that the mullahs will topple, but it's going to take more effort. But you are here to show that that effort is going to be forthcoming. And I promise you in my own behalf and in behalf of the others in the American delegation that we know that and that our efforts will not stop either until the day comes when we can greet each other in a peaceful and free Iran. Thank you very much.
Thank you and good afternoon, Madam Rajavi. Our pleasure and our privilege to be here with you today. Let me ask you a question. It's a warm day in Paris. It's a hotter day in Iran. But do you feel the winds of change blowing over Iran? And you are the people, your brothers and sisters in Albania, and your brothers and sisters in Iran, who are blowing that wind with an ever-increasing force. Well, we don't have to be weathermen to know that the winds and the force of change is not only irrevocable in Iran, but it is blowing with increasing force to a logical conclusion. Although things are changing around and under the regime's agenda of terrorism has not changed. Last Monday was the 22nd anniversary of the IRGC Saudi Hezbollah bombing of the U.S. barracks in Khobar Towers. Since then, the regime has continued to export terrorism in Yemen, in Argentina, in Syria, all around the world. That has not changed. What has changed, however, is what's going on in the hearts and minds and on the streets and bazaar in Iran. So I have two very brief messages. The one message is to the freedom fighters in Iran. We support you. We're there for you. We can move. We are amazed at your courage and your bravery. We can move satellites to help you communicate. We can shut down companies on secondary sanctions violations. We can't carry the fight as you have because you are the tip of the spear for liberty. My second message, my concluding message, is to the oppressors in Iran, to the terrorist regime, to the criminals who are arresting, torturing, and murdering their citizens. This is not 100 years ago. We have the ability and will maintain the ability to bring those criminals to justice. I have a little experience in this. There are things that are called evidence, witnesses, digital records, bank accounts, witnesses. The day will come when not only democratic change will be brought to Iran, but the criminals who have committed crimes against humanity will fill the criminal courts of the international community. They will be brought to justice, and they will make the current International Criminal Court look like a traffic court.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنه لشرف لنا أن نكون معكم في هذه الأيام التاريخية وأنقل لكم تحيات فخامة الرئيس عبد الرب منصور هادي والشعب اليمني، وكلنا ثقة ويقين أن الشعب الإيراني البطل وبقيادة الرئيسة مريم رقوي الصبورة ذات العزيمة العالية ستنتصر أيضا في القريب العاجل. نحن نملك الإرادة ونتمسك بمبادئ الحق والقانون والسلام والاستقرار والمحبة والتنمية، وإنا غدا لناظره قريب. نؤكد لكم أننا سنعمل معا من أجل لقم ووقف تدخلات النظام الإيراني السافرة والعدوانية التي تجاوزت كل الحدود ولا يمكن السكوت والتغاضي عنها. إن سبب هذه الحرب هو ميليشيات الحوثيين التي تدعمها إيران، والتي تقتل الكثير من المدنيين والأبرياء بسبب المتفجرات والألغام والصواريخ التي ترسلها إيران للحوثيين، وتدعمهم مادياً وإعلامياً وتمويلهم اللامحدود. هذا النظام الذي يبدد أموال الشعب الإيراني ويفاقم من تدهور البنية التحتية والحالة الإنسانية التي تعاني منها بلادي منذ انقلاب الميليشيات وسيطرتها بالقوة والعنف والقتل والتهديد، وهو مطابق تماماً لما حصل في إيران قبل 40 سنة عند سيطرة جماعة الخميني على طهران. فهذا النظام الإرهابي لا نجاح له يذكر إلا تفريخ منظمات إرهابية صغيرة مثل الحوثيين وحزب الله وغيرها. وادعوا الله بأن ينصركم وينصرنا، ودعواتكم ومساندتكم لنا في كل موقع في تحقيق الانتصارات على هذه الميليشيات الانقلابية الإرهابية والداعمين لها. أنتم جميعا محل تقدير واعتزاز من كل اليمنيين. شكرا جزيلا لكم.
Good evening. Good evening. I'd like to talk briefly about something that I have personal experience in that has been mentioned today, but I believe deserves deeper consideration. And that is Iran's meddling in and destabilizing its neighbors. You know, last Sunday, our Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, was asked by a journalist, what is the U.S. goal with respect to Iran? And here's what he said. He said, our goal is to push Iran to act like a normal country. To act like a normal country. He said, don't support terrorism, don't launch missiles into international airports, and don't be the world's largest state sponsor of terrorism. Yet today, Iran, through its terrorist arm, the Quds Force, continues to support terrorism and destabilize not only its neighbors, but the entire region. And that's not normal behavior. And I firmly believe that no government that actually actively supports and exports terror can be a productive player in the world today. Change must come to Iran. And I said direct experience here. From our time in Iraq, many of us in the U.S. military have seen firsthand how Iran uses terrorism to accomplish its political objectives. And as coalition commander, I certainly saw that in Iraq when the regime used terrorism to foment sectarian violence and to frustrate the goals of the United States and Iraqis to establish a representative democracy. The approach that they used is three-pronged. They bought political support through political contributions to Iraqi political leaders and political groups. They bought public support through economic support to communities in the southern part of the country. And they fostered sectarian violence by providing training and equipment to the Shia militia organizations. Now, you might ask, how can I be so sure about that? In 2006, my forces captured 6 Quds Force operatives in an operations cell in Baghdad that they shared with a Shia militia group. And on the wall were maps of Baghdad.
that showed their operational plans for forced population movements, purely for sectarian purposes. And there were ledgers, many books of the weapons transfers that came in and out of there. And we had caught them red-handed in supporting sectarian violence and terrorism in one of their neighboring countries. That's not what normal countries do. As I look back on that now, I say that was 12 years ago. I can only come, and today they are still destabilizing the region. I can only come to one conclusion, that change must come to Iran